living organisms, they have classified into different kingdom, okay. So already in the first chapter we discussed this kingdom Plantae, kingdom Animaliae, right. So in this chapter we will be going to deal with so all other the kingdoms, okay, including the Plantae and kingdom Animaliae. Clear? So how all these the different kingdoms they have classified, okay. So with regards to the each kingdom we will be discussing, okay. So this is what our chapter. So our chapter is basically going to give you the details about all the kingdoms. The kingdom Monera, okay, the kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, as well Plantae, Animalia, and including the other organisms also. So they are specialized organisms. Example, the viruses, viroids, prions, as well as lichens. Okay, regarding all these the kingdoms we will discuss, but as far as concerned with the Plantae and Animaliae, we will discuss in the next followed the third chapter as in the fourth chapter in detail. But remaining three kingdom, okay, we will discuss so in detail, as well the viruses, viroids, prions and lichens. These are also the organisms, they are included in this chapter to learn in brief, okay. So let us have look over how the biological classification has proposed, okay. How the scientists they have start classifying the organisms, what are the criteria they have concerned, right. So yes, in this way actually since the dawn of the civilization, so many attempts have been done to classify system. Earlier classification, it was based on the use of the organisms, okay, use of the organism, how we are using the organisms. So in that way we have classified the living organisms. Earlier classification, right, earlier classification, living organisms we have classified. Earlier classification, it was based on the need, okay, based on the need. See, what are the needs of us, like shelter, right, then the food, right, then clothes, right. So likewise, so based on the need of us, how we are using the organisms for our own use, so according to that we started classifying the organisms in the earlier system of the classifications. Like I told you, since the dawn of the civilization, okay. But later on what happened, so the scientists, of course many scientists, so they have been they have been trying to classify the organisms. In this way, the Aristotle, he was an earliest. Aristotle was an earliest attempting to classify the organisms in more scientific manner. So then he divided the plants. He divided the plants into herbs, okay, shrubs, okay, then trees. Likewise, he tried to classify the plants. Who is that? The Aristotle. Aristotle was the earliest in attempting classifying the organisms in more scientific manner. So he divided the plants into herbs, shrubs and the trees. On what basis? So on the basis of the morphological characters. Based on the morphological characters, he has divided the plants. Okay, then of course he also attempted in dividing the animals. So the animals into two category. One is those who are having the red blood. Those who are having the red blood, and those who are not having the red blood, do not have the red blood. Okay, here in this case, he has divided the plants into three categories, like shrubs, herbs and trees. So based on the morphological characters. Okay, so herbs, how the herbs they will be looking like, the habit will be like what? They are small, then the tender stem, green. Is it right? That is what the morphological characters he has considered. Similarly, he also divided the animals into two groups. Okay, like red blood animals, then the animals they do not have the red blood. This actually the first the scientific the manner, in more scientific manner, the classification has done by the Aristotle. Okay, so in the time of the Linnaeus, okay, during the time of the Linnaeus, he also tried to classify the living organisms, and according to him, he classified the living organisms into two major kingdoms. That is the kingdom Plantae. Okay, this is the kingdom Plantae. Then another one, kingdom Animalia. What are these? These are the kingdoms. Okay, so therefore he divided, means the entire living organisms into two kingdoms, the Plantae kingdom and the Animalia kingdom. So this is what? Two kingdom system of the classification. Two kingdom system of classification. Okay, he made, okay, he has divided all plants into the kingdom Plantae. He kept all the plants into the kingdom Plantae and all the animals into the kingdom Animalia. Okay, this is how he has classified the living organisms into two kingdoms, Plantae and Animaliae. Okay, this actually done by the Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, two kingdom system of the classification as given by Carolus Linnaeus. So the two kingdoms, Plantae and Animalia. Okay, what are the advantages of this system? Let us see advantages. So it is very easy, right? So to classify the organisms into Plantae and Animalia based on morphological feature, based on external features, it is easy only, right? Easy to classify. Yes, easy to understand the organisms. So we can easily understand. So the plants, they may be herbs, shrubs, whatever may be. Usually those are having the green color and such a morphological features, if they are showing, if they are not moving, so then it will be what? All these organisms we will be easily understanding that they are belong to the kingdom Plantae. Okay, easy. It will be easy to understand. Yes, but apart from this, these are all advantages. Advantages. Yes, see, large group of organisms are there and they are not at all belong to any of these kingdoms, either Plantae or Animalia. Okay, so then like those organisms also he has included in this. So that's what, see, though it is having the advantages, but this system is having certain drawbacks. Let us see what are the drawbacks. Drawbacks of Linnaeus classification. Linnaeus classification. Drawbacks are he kept, okay, he included the prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes in the same group. Is it right? So then he has included unicellular and multicellular in the same group. Is it right? And he also did not give the distinguished the things characteristics of the photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic. Non-photosynthetic. So the drawbacks are, what are the drawbacks of these two kingdom system? Means here the Linnaeus has kept the prokaryotes within the eukaryotes. Look at this Plantae, kingdom Plantae. So in the kingdom Plantae, so usually it is means he has kept all the things like the bacteria, okay, the bacteria, then blue green algae, okay, then algae, fine, then mosses, okay, then pteridophytes, gymnosperm, angiosperms, including fungi. Okay, all these things, all the things means all these organisms he kept under the kingdom Plantae. Okay, so here look at the bacteria and the blue-green algae. So what are these? These are the prokaryotes. These two are the prokaryotes. Okay, so then it is understood the prokaryotes, he included the prokaryotes to this eukaryotic organisms. You take the algae, mosses, fungi, angiosperms, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, all these are the eukaryotes. So along with the eukaryotes, he kept the prokaryotes in the same kingdom. So this is a one drawback, right? So these are completely different from the eukaryotes. Okay, in their special characteristic features, we will look on to the next further, right? Then unicellular and multicellular. He did not distinguish unicellular and multicellular organisms. Take again example the bacteria and blue-green algae. So these are unicellular organisms, okay? And again he kept this unicellular organism along with the multicellular. Take algae, other higher organisms are all multicellular organisms. Even in case of animalia, right? Some like amoeba, paramecium, okay, these are all what? They are unicellular organisms. So he kept this unicellular organism along with the multicellular organisms. Multicellular means you can take the hydra, okay, sponges, right, the jellyfishes, whatever may be, okay, the further advanced organisms. So the amoeba, paramecium, euglena, they are the primitive one, primitive unicellular organisms, okay, they are unicellular. So he did not distinguish the multicellular from the unicellular. This is another drawback. And of course he kept the fungi, okay, fungi actually non-photosynthetic in nature. Okay, so he did not distinguish the photosynthetic from the non-photosynthetic. Look at here, in Plantae kingdom, he included fungi also. So therefore, these are all the drawbacks. So then, this two kingdom system, it has become up to certain extent, they have accepted. But for studying all the organisms, these two kingdoms which were not sufficient, not adequate. So hence we have to consider the characters. See, by observing all these drawbacks, so we can easily understood. So other characters which are there, these characters are distinguishing characters between the organisms, and those characters if we consider, then it will going to make a changes in the classification systems. Is it right? So in that way, some other scientists, they also attempted to classify the organisms into a different the kingdoms. Okay, they are start classifying the organisms. It has been happening, okay, the continuous process. This classification system is there, no, it is continuous process. Why it is continuous? Because how we are understanding the organisms. So in that way, the system of the classification keep on changing, and these changes will be future also. Okay, it may going to change in future also. So how we are understanding the organisms and their characteristic features. So where we have to keep these organisms, likewise, so all the questions which comes. So then once we try to solve this problem, then again the changes will be happening in the classification system. Okay, yes. So what are the other characters that we have to consider? See, only actually the Linnaeus has considered the morphological features. Okay, that's what he made, only 2 kingdom systems. But when we start considering the other characteristics, so it will be going to change. Fine. So let us see what may be the characters we have to consider for classification. So further characters. So besides the morphology, of course morphology is also required. So along with this, so we need certain other criteria, that is cell structure, then its wall, nature of the wall. Let us consider the other characters, okay, so which are influencing on the classification systems. Okay, so the characters like, besides the morphology, the other characters like cell structure, okay, then the nature of the cell wall, then habitat, okay, the mode of nutrition, method of reproduction, and then phylogenetic or evolutionary relationship, So these characters also required for the classification. Cell structure, what may be the structure of the cell, and the nature of its wall, cell wall, habitat, the mode of the nutrition, how the nutrition they are going to obtain. So method of the reproduction, evolutionary relationship. Evolutionary relationship is nothing but, see, you know that. So the birds which are evolved from the reptiles, is it right? That is an evolutionary relationship with the reptiles, means birds with the reptiles. Even the humans also, we have evolutionary relationship with the monkeys. This is how, so these characters also considered. So therefore, so once we start considering these characters, then the classification, the classification system which will be going to change. Okay, so of course, so the Plantae and Animalia kingdom which were constant, so these two are the constant kingdoms. Fine, so there is no changes in these 2 kingdoms. So though the different classification systems which put like forwarded by many scientists, but they kept the kingdom Plantae and Animalia constant, but they'll start going to understanding the other groups of the organisms where we have to keep. So depending on this, the classification system will be changing. Okay, kingdom Plantae and Animalia, these 2 are common in different types of the classification systems. Okay, let us see the another very important the classification system, that is five kingdom system of the classification. So it was proposed by R.H. Whittaker. Okay, the next system is five kingdom system. Five kingdom system of classification. Earlier we discussed about two kingdom system. Two kingdom, which are those? Kingdom Plantae, Kingdom Animaliae. Okay, Animalia. Here five kingdom system. Five. How this three more which are added? How three kingdoms which are added to this system? So what are the criteria? What are the characters he has considered for classifying the organisms into major, the five kingdoms? So these we have to discuss under this five kingdom system of the classification, and this is actually this was proposed by the R.H. Whittaker. R.H. Whittaker in the year 1969. Okay, in the year 1969 he proposed five kingdom system of the classification. Okay, what are the five kingdoms? Let us see. Okay, the five kingdoms which are, first the Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, and the remaining two which are Plantae, Animalia. That's it. Okay, these three he has added to the two kingdoms. So then it has become five kingdom system of the classification. Kingdom Monera, Protista, Fungi. Okay, Plantae and Animalia. Let us see what are the characters he has considered for classifying these organisms into five kingdoms. The characters, okay, the characters that he has considered. The characters he has considered, it is cell structure, body organization, okay, then mode of nutrition, reproduction, and evolutionary relationship. It is also called as phylogenetic, the relationship. Okay, so cell structure, then body organization, how the body of the organism, it has organized, whether it is unicellular or multicellular. Then the mode of the nutrition. Okay, so how they are obtaining the nutrition. So then the reproduction, then evolutionary relationship. So these are the characters, right? So he has considered for classifying the organisms into the major five kingdoms. Okay, let us see the comparative account on these five kingdoms by considering these characters. Okay, so with a chart. See, as I have mentioned, the characters, what characters that we have to write, and the comparative account on all these five, the kingdoms. Okay, so the characters, cell type. What may be the cell type in Monera? So cell type, it is prokaryotic. Prokaryotic cell. Okay, so in Monera, the cell is prokaryotic. Then in Protista, eukaryotic. The cell is eukaryotic cell. So even in fungi also it is eukaryotic. Plant A, eukaryotic. Animalia, eukaryotic. What is that? The differences between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic? Pro means primitive nucleus. So primitive nucleus. Primitive nucleus. Primitive nucleus. Like the DNA which is not encompassed by the nuclear membrane. Take an example. I'm just going to draw the diagram like this. So here it is a nuclear membrane, but in case of the Monera there is no nuclear membrane. So the DNA which is naked. DNA is naked. So this type of the cell we will call it as the prokaryotic cell. Eukaryotic means, so it is containing the true nucleus. Okay, here this is a true nucleus you can expect. Inside the true nucleus, like inside that the nuclear membrane, the DNA is there. Okay, so U means true, karyo means nucleus. True nucleus is there in the kingdom Protista. So this is the Monera. It is the first kingdom according to the Whittaker classification, where here in the Monera, the organisms they have the prokaryotic type of the cell. Okay, let us see the nature of the cell wall. Okay, nature of cell wall. Okay, what may be the nature of the cell wall? Cell wall is there in Monera? Yes, it is present. Cell wall is present. And this cell wall is non-cellulosic. Non-cellulosic. Okay, but it is made up of the specialized cell wall, that is a polysaccharide plus amino acid. Okay, polysaccharide and amino acid cell wall means the cell wall is non-cellulosic. It is not made up of the cellulose, but instead of that the cell wall is made up of the polysaccharide and the amino acids. So like amino acids and polysaccharides, so they are combined in such a way that and going to form a component of the cell wall of this, the Monera. Means the organisms, they will come under the Monera. Then the nature of the cell wall in Protista. Okay, some they have, okay, in some the cell wall is present. Okay, in some the cell wall is present. That is the cellulosic. Okay, then fungi, cell wall is present. Cell wall is present, but it is chitinous cell wall. It is chitinous cell wall. Is present, but it is cellulosic cell wall. In animals like kingdom Animalia, no cell wall. There is no cell wall. Fine. Now let us look at the next characteristic feature, that is a nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane in Monera it is absent. Okay, it is absent. As in case of the Protista, the nuclear membrane is present. That's what these organisms, they have become eukaryotes. Nuclear membrane here also present. Here also present. Here also present. Then come to the next one, that is body organization. Body organization. Body organization, Monera, they are cellular. The body is cellular. Means it is made up of only one cell, unicellular organisms. Protista, here also cellular. Okay, unicellular. Unicellular, but fungi, multicellular. Multicellular, like loose tissue. Fine. Then plant A, multicellular. So they contain the tissues, okay, organs, like this. Then Animalia, similarly multicellular. Multicellular, they have different types of the tissues, organs, organ systems. Okay, organ systems. Look at the next, that is the last one, mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition. Here in Monera, they are like some they are autotrophs, then heterotrophs. We'll discuss about the autotrophs and heterotrophs in detail in this kingdom Monera. Okay, autotrophs, they may be photosynthetic or they may be chemosynthetic. Heterotrophs, they may be parasitic or saprophytic. Likewise, the differences we will be going to see. Okay, the next protista. Yes, of course, the mode of nutrition, some they are autotrophs, but they are photosynthetic autotrophs. Photosynthetic autotrophs. Okay, and some they are heterotrophs. Okay, photosynthetic autotrophs also there, heterotrophs also there in the protista. Then fungi. So the fungi, majority of them they are heterotrophs. Okay, then plantae, they are photosynthetic autotrophs. Photosynthetic autotrophs. Okay, here these are heterotrophs. Heterotrophs means holozoic mode of nutrition. So, or some of them they are saprophytes. Okay, let us see the comparative account on all these by considering these characteristic features. Okay, so as I told you, the kingdom Monera, all these characters they have considered, and it's completely different from the other the kingdoms. Okay, so the body organization. So I told you already, in the Monera they have the unicells, cellular level of organization, body organization. Here also cellular level, they have only one cell, unicellular. But when we come to this plantae, fungi and animalia, so they have multi-cells, they have many cells, and the group of the cells together form the tissue. Okay. Here there are the tissues, you can see the different types of the tissues in the plants. You can see like parenchyma, collenchyma, xylem, phylum, phloem, right? Like that we can see the different tissues in the plants, and these different tissues together form the organ, right? Then in animalia, no doubt about that, organ systems, up to the level of the organ systems, the complexity is there, body complexity is there. Next, the mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition means how they'll obtain the nutrients. So, in what way they are getting their nutrition. Okay, autotrophs means, auto means they are going to synthesize their own food. Okay, how they are synthesizing? They may be photosynthetic. Photosynthetic means, you know that. So, due to the presence of the pigment, the chlorophyll A pigment, such a type of the pigment like structure will be there in the members of the Monera, and performing the photosynthesis and going to obtain the energy. Okay, then chemosynthetic, the inorganic substrates, they'll be going to oxidize and going to obtain their energy. Okay, similarly heterotrophs, majority of them they are heterotrophs, like they may be parasites, they may be saprophytes, they may be symbionts. So such a huge varieties of the the groups like organisms which are come under the Monera will be going to get their nutritions in different ways. That we will discuss in this in this chapter. So in the next classes only. Okay. The next come to the Protista. So some of them they are photosynthetic. So photosynthetic. Then like some they are heterotrophs. Okay. Some they are autotrophs. Some they are heterotrophs. Like fungi, completely heterotrophs. Okay. They do not have the capability to synthesize their own food, so they are heterotrophs. Okay, so again heterotrophs we can classify them into saprophytes, decomposers, parasites. Likewise, like plants, no doubt photosynthetic autotrophs. So animalia, the organisms come under the animalia, they are heterotrophs, so depending on the other organisms for their food, right? So and they have holozoic mode of the nutrition. Holozoic means so the food they have ingested, right? So it will be digested inside the body. Such a type of the nutrition is known as the holozoic mode of the nutrition. And some they are even showing the saprophytic mode of the nutrition. Okay, let us have look over the further the concepts as far as concerned with this 5 kingdom system of the classification. This is what the chart we have to remember. So yes, so along with this, right, so we have understood 5 kingdom system of the classification. Okay, 5 kingdom system of the classification, which are those? So this kingdom Plantae we have to remember, kingdom Animalia. Fine, so make these two. Okay, these two will be kept as the domain as such. Okay, so of course, so after the proposal of the 5 kingdom system of the classification, some other proposal has done, and that proposal is 3 domain system. 3 domain system. Okay, what is that 3 domain system? See here, 3 domain system means we will be going to remain the Plantae kingdom, kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia as such. So they are not touching anything. They are here in this. But as far as concerned with this kingdom Monera, okay, kingdom Monera, this kingdom Monera has the 2 domains. Kingdom Monera has 2 domains. Kingdom Monera has 2 domains. Okay, so remaining all they'll kept as such the kingdoms. Only the Monera is having the 2 domains. One is Archaebacteria. Another one that is Eubacteria. This is how the 2 domains they have done in the kingdom Monera. Okay, remaining all the kingdoms it will be constant. Only the Monera they have made as a 2 domains. So since they are showing the very distinguishing characters between the Eubacteria and the Archaebacteria. So the 2 domains you can expect in this kingdom Monera. So now it has become how many kingdoms? 6 kingdoms. Okay, earlier it was 5 kingdom as far as concerned with the R.H. Whittaker classification. But once the 3 domain system has proposed, then the kingdom Monera has divided into 2 domains. Remaining all they'll be kept under the same, the third domain. No doubt about that. Okay. So by considering these things, so we can find that the instead of the 5 kingdom system of the classification, we could able to find that the 6 kingdom system of the classification, since because the Monera has divided into 2 domains. Okay, this is what the proposition after the proposition of the 5 kingdom system of the classification. Okay, yes. Now let us look on to the next. See what are the characters that which are influencing on this classification. Why he made the 3 kingdoms, like the Plantae kingdom he kept constant. Why he made the 3 kingdoms? Let us have look over that. By considering the characters, we'll be going to study about that. We'll be going to understand that. So why the 3 kingdoms which has proposed by the Whittaker. Okay, that is in the next class. Okay, thank you very much. Keep watching the Benchmark classes.